Don't worry, His Majesty comes later.
Aye.
Just,
Well, we are today, Justin.
I was round the corner in somebody's wee bar with several other people who rotated throughout the day. They're probably still there now. And, well, let's say I was toasting His Majesty well before noon today with
right.
alcoholic beverages.
Now, you see, I will just say I was working. I had a whiskey tasting, a whiskey tour today, out and about. I had a walking tour before that with people who walked from the Merchant Hotel to the City Hall and said, "Is it much further?" I was like, yeah. So I don't know. I can't really do a walking tour without actually leaving anywhere, you know. But anyway, no, the group in the afternoon was great crack. They were really nice guys. So yeah, I was working today, but I know I sent a couple of pictures and whatnot from the coronation. As you know, I have a couple of friends that were there, and it was really good, really good.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, it was good.
If it looks slightly different tonight, folks, that's because they've changed their end and it looks slightly different. And I press the button and everything appears. Marty appeared in mirror image. I thought we were in the dark side of the sun there when we tuned in, but it should be. It doesn't say "Sois Givaka," does it? As long as it says "evening, guys" at your end when you're reading that, we know it's the right way around at your end. So
no, it should be all right.
Better say hello to a lot of people that are sticking with us on Coronation evening. Andrew McAllister saying hello. Anthony Sillett saying hello. Remember, if you're watching, remember to comment, like, and share. Hit subscribe. Thomas Jones is saying, "Hi, I thought His Majesty was Justin."
No. Yes. Can you imagine Justin being the monarch, head of state? Huh? To be wars declared all over the place, money printed all over the place. Aye.
It would be a free for all. Julie Mason saying hello. John Trednick is saying hello. Good evening. Scary Cycle Against Suicide. Good evening. I missed the festivities. I was working also. Patrick Mulkey saying good evening.
Workers of the world unite.
And Kian Poland is saying good evening to everyone as well. Yeah. What a week. What a week.
So it's, I've been sort of busy all week. So I have. I've been doing stuff all week, you know. I'm off tomorrow, and Monday. I'm off Monday, and then I'm busy the rest of the week. But yeah, good. It's all good. Now,
there you go. Just Anthony says he's just back from a 6-hour drive from home. I know a couple of people were in Edinburgh this week. Our mutual mate Peter was there, and a guy.
That's right.
Yeah. Joy, the London bus driver, was there as well. So there you go. Frank Hearn saying hello.
Short cross for Franco.
Here, and during the week, I happened to notice that Mark Kerr was down at the Dog and Duck.
Excellent, good man. You'll have to give us a critique of the meeting.
I think you enjoyed it. I think you enjoyed it from the Facebook photographs.
Good.
There we go.
Excellent. Good stuff. Well, we do a bit of news.
We're better.
Right. Well, hot on the tails of the first distillery opening in Belfast, we see the stills being delivered for what will be the second distillery, McConnell's up on the Crumlin Road. Now, this is quite an ambitious project up in there too, from what I am led to believe. Now, it's going to look the part. It's going to look really well. Anyone who doesn't know the story, originally that was to be where the Titanic distillery was going to be, and then Peter, who has the Titanic brand, all sort of fell through and it got passed on, and it got picked up by the guys of J.J. McConnell. And they seem to have just picked the ball up and ran with it. I think pretty much everybody thinks the bottles of McConnell's just look super. They really do. They are fantastic. The whiskey's good. Now, obviously, it's sourced at the minute, but the whiskey's good, affordable, tasty. And now they've got Graham Miller, who was formerly of Dunville's, has jumped over to come on board with them. So yeah, it all seems to be coming good. Now, as far as I'm aware, they're looking at sort of November time to be opening up and running. But we all know these things can get knocked back very quickly. So yeah, fingers crossed. It looks like everything's all full steam ahead and moving forward. So good on them.
Yeah, good stuff. It's good to see.
Yeah,
Good to see.
absolutely. I mean, anyone who's hasn't done the Crumlin Road Jail tour, it's just that's a fantastic tour. It really is.
It's a big site. You could fit a hostel or a hotel in there, or Airbnb as well.
Absolutely. That'd be a nice Airbnb, huh? Yeah, come and stay in the jail.
I know, but they do it in Russia, the Gulag and all stuff like that.
Oh, that'd be nice. Oh, yes, romanticize the gulags. Let's go and stay in a Soviet era gulag. But no, so good on them. Hope everything's coming to plan. Yeah, it looks as if it's going to be a major thing.
Lovely stuff. Trees and logs.
Trees and logs. This was a podcast. Now, these are white American oak forests. I found out a thing listening to that podcast that I kind of knew it. It's one of them things until someone mentions it to you. These vast forests of oak that there are in the sort of eastern seaboard of America, you kind of think, oh, these are ancient oak forests. They're not. They actually only date really from the end of the Depression or a little bit before it. Most of them are abandoned farms that were taken over.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, this is a podcast that's called Odd Lots, and it's done by Bloomberg, and it's kind of it's about sort of businessy type things and so on and so forth. But this week they had a guy called a professor from Penn State University called Calvin Norman, and he came on to highlight the long-term problems with oak management, with the forestry management. That's what he does. He's a professor of forestry. And he reckons that within a sort of generation, there'll be a 77% decline in white American oak because it's suffering from lots and lots of threats. Now, the problem with this is a long-term issue. In that, take for example, it highlights about the invasive species. To clear an acre of invasive species costs about $80. Not a huge amount of money, but it costs $80. The problem is you don't see any return on this. If you're in the bourbon industry, you're not going to see any return on this for about 100 years. So it's kind of hard to warrant spending the money. But here's the other thing. They have land ownership problems. Lots of these are owned in little small farms. So it's very hard to get people to collectively do things. If it was owned by one big multinational conglomerate, then it could be done. But it's very hard to do that when it's little small farms. Okay?
Okay, but if they don't do it, they're going to run out of the raw ingredient that they need for the barrels.
Aye, but the problem, how do they do it? How do they do it? You know, unless they're going to pay the farmers to do it, and it's 100 years down the line before they actually see the trees. Now, here's the other one. What's the other one they pointed out?
Is this where you can't see the wood for the trees comes from?
Kind of knew that. I sort of had that. He's going to say. Stay of quality. In terms of the trees that can be used for casks, it's very specific trees. So there's only a small percentage that actually can be turned into staves. So Anthony's saying they're cut down one plant 10. It's not necessarily just as simple as that in order to have good, healthy management of the wood. Deer overpopulation. Deer apparently eat these white American oak trees. They love them. And there's other animals that love the acorns. So what he's saying is, he says there's no threat now. But unless something's done now, there won't be these forests going forward. So they can... they have to do it now. It's a really, really interesting podcast. He's not saying there's any massive panic, but it's just that things need to be done now if we want these to be viable long term. The problem is when you listen to it, some of the very obvious solutions that he doesn't state, but he's proposing is, well, sell all your land to a multinational and shoot Bambi. That's not going to be a big selling point. You're not going to
No.
get a lot of support for this. But essentially, it's a good podcast. It's well worth listening to. It's on Odd Lots by Bloomberg. It's on a free podcast, so see, it's well worth listening to.
Okay, we'll maybe give that. I'll find it and put it up on screen. Actually,
Yeah, well,
Uh,
do that.
so busy week.
Yeah.
We're doing a Coronation Special tonight. A lot of bottles still to come. A lot of background to His Majesty's involvement in particularly the Scotch, but not just the Scotch, but
No,
English
just
whiskey
Scotch,
as well.
then. Not just the Scotch, English and Irish as well.
Yep.
Now, another ferociously expensive bottle of whiskey is coming up for sale. The Silent Distillery Chapter 4.
Wow.
So here it is.
Wow.
50,000 euro of 48-year-old Irish whiskey. Aye. It's what can you say about this? They give you tasting notes on this, by the way. I mean, let's be honest, how many of these is open? As out of all of the ones that have been released so far.
Do they give you a tiny little sample to check as well, do they?
I don't think so. I don't think so in these. The tasting notes are it's on the nose it's sweet chocolate, honeycomb, quince jelly, caramelized apples. On the palate, fruits, chili oil, and ginger, and on the finish, stone fruit and soft spices.
Sounds delectable.
53.9% and 50,000 euro a bottle. But don't fear, never ever ever fear, because there's free shipping on bottles over 100 euro. Free shipping. So there you go. That's not bad. The Silent Distillery, they make a beautiful collection. Willie has one of them up in the friend at hand.
If you bought that, would you not go get it yourself? Would you trust it to the DHL man? Would you?
I think I would probably nip down and pick it up myself, if I'm honest. But it's fantastic. But this year's the 48, next year the 49, and then the 50. That'll give you a complete set of 6. The bottles look superb. The Waterford Crystal bottles, the boxes are done by John Galvin. It looks fantastic.
If we got 50 of our viewers to club together and put £1,000 each and bought it, would it be worth £100,000 in 5 years' time?
I'm going to say no. Maybe in 10 years' time, I don't know. But I know that there is some shenanigans going on with these.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not at liberty to say much about them. But let's just say there's a couple of them have appeared up at auction, and they were bought for the right money. But shall we say the VAT was claimed back on some of them? Let's just put it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's that. I think that's what I've heard, allegedly, possibly. Yeah.
There's Anthony Sillett. You look a bit tired, to be honest. Anthony Sillett saying perhaps the change in the US laws where they can use the cask more than once.
Well, you could do that, but then you're changing the whole thing, and that'll put the price of casks up for the Scotch and Irish and so on, the other guys that buy them off. So it's a kind of a long-term problem that's part of that sort of supply chain the whole way through the industry. And I think that's probably what makes it more important than anything else, because those bourbon casks are fundamental and key to basically everybody. Everybody kind of relies on them, So yeah, that'd be interesting to see. But it's well worth checking out, having a listen to it. Now, by the way, if anybody's wanting to buy a silent collection and bottle 48-year-old wants to invite me around, no problem at all. I'll bring a glass or two.
There's the link in the case you need to find it.
Oh yes. Over to Heathrow, London, and Johnny Walker.
Wow.
Johnny Walker have opened a shop within a shop in Terminal 2. And it's got a whiskey explorer zone. Now, what it says is the idea, according to Andrew Cowan, who's the managing director, is to give a dynamic and immersive format. Something unique, luxurious, more engaging, and more visual. You know, it's going to be a big touchscreen that tells you our whiskey's made with the finest water running down the
Have we not
Virgin
seen
Hills.
that in an airport? Have we not seen that in an airport somewhere? I think we did.
Did we?
I think they had that in Edinburgh Airport.
No, I don't think they know. I think this is
There was some sort of touch. There's some sort of touch screen up the last time you were coming through. Do you not remember you commented on it?
Aye, there was something, but I can't remember.
It looked very similar to that. It's a bit blue. It looks like the Sky News set.
Aye, well, it's the Johnny Walker Blue, the rare bottling. There's a huge push for Johnny Walker. The IGO are going all out with this. This is their big thing. They want to have as much Uncle Johnny fired down people's throats as possible. And I do.
You're not allowed to call him Uncle Johnny. That's cultural appropriation.
Why?
Well, was he an uncle? Sure. The rice is not called Uncle Ben's anymore. It's just called Ben's rice.
Aye. Well, I don't know. His nickname's Uncle Johnny. Johnny Walker ranges from, as we know, the entry level bargain red label, which, let's be honest, it's not great, but it's relatively inoffensive. It doesn't really taste much. All the way up to the rare blue, the Ghost Distillery bottles, and there's lots of stuff in between. And to be honest, ain't much wrong with Johnny Walker. It's not. I don't think it's the greatest whiskey in the world by any stretch of the imagination. But it's a huge brand, and loads and loads and loads of people buy it. It's hugely popular all over the world. So fair play to them, you know. Wouldn't necessarily be my first whiskey of choice.
But there you go. Seems to be working for them.
Yeah, it seems to be. So yeah, it's a dynamic and engaging. Now, last story here this week. There's a raffle in Kentucky to raise money for the Barrick family. Now, if you win the prize, they're not shipping them outside of the US. But if you do know someone and have an address in the US, they'll send it to you. Josh Barrick was tragically killed in one of these shootings over in the States, and they're trying to raise money for his family, including his two children, James 7 and Carolina 9. So all the proceeds are going to help them and fund them getting through the period of time that it is. It's $50, buys you 10 entries, and there's 100 and I have it wrote down here somewhere, 130 lots, I think it is. So you've got your Pappies, your Old Foresters, their Blantons, Wild Turkey, E.H. Taylor, Jack Daniels. There's experiences, which if you win, obviously, I'm sure you can hold and take it over to you. If anybody's watching in the States, it's open until, let me just check. It's open until the 12th of May. The event will go live on 11:59 on the 12th of May, where we will draw the winners. We'll do a live stream, the winners on May the 15th at 8 p.m. So yeah, so there might be some people, if anybody wants to.
There is a countdown there. There is a countdown,
yeah.
So people can check it out.
But yeah, it's nice. I mean, everybody always talks about the whiskey community and so on and so forth, and the fact that there's people who've put up balls to. I mean, they can't even begin to imagine what the family's going through. But even just the idea of thinking about some of these things maybe that helps as well, you know. But anyway, I just thought it was nice. I thought it was a nice thing.
It is.
And that is this week's news.
Very good.
There we go.
Now.
Now,
who would have thought we would have seen that spectacle today? You missed it. It was some spectacle, I can tell you that much.
Well, I tell you what happened. I had a group, and they were showing it on a big screen in Belfast City Hall, And I was round at the Titanic and I was talking about the Titanic Memorial and so on, and then I heard Zadok the priest being played, so I knew that the coronation had taken place, and I was able to just have a look over. It just, I mean, it just looks amazing. It just looks absolutely incredible.
And a big boost for tourism and hospitality and drinks industry, and you
Of
name it.
course,
Yeah.
of course, of course, of course. The reason we're bringing up King Charles on this is he's a big whiskey man. It's a well-known fact that he's not adverse. The whole royal family. I know a guy who did the music at Zara Phillips' wedding to Mike Tyndall, and he says, "Look, I'm not allowed to say anything about it as such. What anybody done or whatever it was said, but they know how to party." And he said they can drink. Yeah, they like a drink, no doubt about that.
I think we know that. I think that's not giving any away state
No.
secrets at all.
Now, King Charles is a big whiskey fan. He I've got pictures of the amount of stuff. This is him with Royal Lochnagar. There's loads of pictures of him just having a drink of whiskey.
There are indeed. Shall we maybe explain how he feels about the whiskey in his own words, shall we, first?
Oh, if you want to play that, well, there's a little video. It's a few minutes long, and it was given to the keepers of the Quick, which he is one. He's an honorary member of the keepers of the Quick, and he basically gave an address over YouTube during COVID. And I've obviously I was doing a bit of research for this week, and I saw this, and I kind of thought it was really quite touching and quite sincere. I mean, I know a couple of people that know King Charles probably as well as anybody outside of the family would ever know him, and they say he is a genuinely lovely man. He's concerned, he's caring, he's compassionate, he's intelligent, and he comes across like that. He really does. So I saw this. If you want to play it, Justin, fire away.
Ladies and gentlemen, I seem to recall it was back in 1996 that I first attended the Keepers of the Quake banquet in the splendid setting of Blair Castle in Perthshire, when I was particularly touched and flattered to be inducted as an honorary member of your society. For most of us who measure time in hours, days and months, a quarter of a century is a long time. But for those of you in the Scotch whisky industry who count time to an altogether different beat of years, decades and centuries, it is simply long enough to mature a fine single malt. And now, more than ever, as this dreadful pandemic prevents us from coming together at events such as the Keeper's Banquet or the dinner I hosted for the Society at Dumfries House back in 2016, it is somehow reassuring to think of the spirit of Scotland gently maturing in casks, oblivious to the ebb and flow of world events, waiting patiently to be shared and enjoyed in happier days. It has been, I know, a long, hard winter in Scotland, but as the snow melts in the April sun and flows into the burns and rivers, we take comfort in the knowledge that today's rain is tomorrow's whisky. It is in that spirit of hope for the future that I wanted to address all keepers and masters of the Quaich, and indeed all members of the extended Scotch whisky family around the world. At its heart, Scotch whisky is the simplest of creations, with just 3 natural ingredients: water, grain, and yeast. Yet add the alchemy of human knowledge, skill, perseverance, and time, and it becomes a product of infinite complexity, depth, and significance. From grain to glass, Scotch whisky is in a very palpable sense woven into the very fabric of Scottish society and culture. Its roots run deep into the land, back beyond 1494, when Friar John Cause ate bowls of malt with the first officially recorded evidence of distillation. More than 5 centuries later, Scotch whisky is firmly established as Scotland's premier export industry, taking the taste of Scotland to virtually every country in the world and generating wealth for communities the length and breadth of the country. With 130 whisky distilleries, Scotland has the largest concentration of distilling infrastructure and expertise of any country in the world. And the great beauty of Scotch whisky is that it is rooted in our rural communities, from the rugged coasts of the Western Isles to the lowlands, the hills of Speyside, and the glens of the Highlands. From the fields of malting barley to the waters of our rivers, to our peatlands and forests, the sustainability of our environment and Scotch whisky go hand in hand. That is why I am so very pleased to see the industry as a whole addressing its responsibility to promote sustainability and the conservation of our natural resources. As we finally rebuild after the pandemic, Scotch whisky also has a vital role to play in the recovery of the hospitality and tourism sectors that are a part of the whisky industry's extended ecosystem and which create priceless economic opportunities for our young people for the future. Scotch whisky is about people, the men and women who make it, who promote it and sell it across the world, and of course those of us who share it in communal celebration or enjoy it in moments of solitary contemplation. And that is what the Keepers of the Quaich represent as a society. All of you, ladies and gentlemen, the people who make great Scotch whisky and who make Scotch whisky great. Over its 5 centuries of often tumultuous history, Scotch whisky has not only survived, but has prospered. I have every confidence that the talent and commitment of this extraordinary industry and its people will also prosper in the future. And so, ladies and gentlemen, in the great Scottish tradition of raising a cup of kindness, and for that matter, our spirits during these difficult and often isolated days, it is to you, my fellow keepers and masters of the Quaich, and indeed everyone who contributes to the unique and wonderful elixir that is Scotch whisky, that I offer this toast with a dram from my Keeper's Quaich. And my toast is to the Keepers of the Quaich and all in the Scotch whisky industry, at home and around the world. Slàinte.
Didn't want to talk over the top of him. What do you think of that?
I mean, I have to say it's great. It's such a nice personal, take a bit of time out, do that, and you can tell he genuinely loves the industry. So no, I thought it was quite touching. It was nice, sort of. They made him an honorary Keeper of the Quaich, which is I've actually hailed the one that they have up in Blair Castle. So yeah, it's nice. I thought it was really nice. But he has a real fondness for Laphroaig. I'll talk about Royal Warrants a wee bit later on. But Laphroaig he's always said that Laphroaig is it's like mother's milk or something. He said it one time. He said it's absolutely beautiful. And he was there at a time to do a little stop visit. And this is probably why it ended up being so close to his heart, because he was flying his own plane and then he crashed it. So he overshot the runway. So he was stranded there for hours until they got him a plane. Now there's the Laphroaig Collector page details the story and tells a detail of some bottles that he signed and gave away to charity and whatnot. So I sent you the link there.
I do.
You know,
This is it here. Yeah.
yeah. So he was given a couple of casks, and he gave them to charity. And then the bottles were auctioned off and stuff. And raised a lot of money back in the day. So it was 1994. He decided he had an aeroplane crash. He overshot the runway, attempted to land his plane on a tricky windy islet. So yeah, it's again, he has an affinity for Lefroy. But that's an interesting page as well. Well worth having a wee look.
It's
run
well
through
worth
it.
and we look
definitely.
we look at that now. A couple of people were commenting there. Anthony Sillett was saying he bought a Wolfburn Coronation Edition. Is this it? Is this it here? Is that it there?
Yeah. Now there's quite a lot of bottles have been released. Now, there's a lot of bottles have been released going through. So I've just done a few of them because I'll always have missed out some. But the Wolfburn bottle, that was there's 600 of those. Bottled at 57.8, if I'm correct there, Anthony. Yep, 57.8. £80 a bottle. Yep, he visited Wolfburn Distillery. He's been in quite a lot of distilleries. I think he likes getting a free drink. So he came to Bushmills there a while back. He was invited up just a wee word. Anyway, no, particularly. But anyway, so yeah, there's the Wolfburn. Bring out another couple there, boy.
I'm trying to find the other one. That the Highgrove one, but I can't. Do we? I think we have the Highgrove one. I think
We
you
do.
did send me a
Just
picture.
you cut through the rest. Don't you be overthinking this, Justin.
Because there's such a small picture, you see, that I can't see them until I get to them. Let me see. Where's the Wolfburn one? We'll go to the next one, which is...
This is the Lefroy one. Now, this is an interesting one because it's actually a trio Coronation edition. And it's crafted to commemorate the ascension of King Charles III. This stunning trilogy of Lefroy expressions has been dutifully matured by Duncan Taylor and lovingly finished in sherry casks. Limited to just 150 sequentially numbered releases. Each luxury set is presented in a clear case, illuminated by remote and gold mirror-escence. Yes. An 18-year-old, a 23-year-old, and a 26-year-old bottle. So you get 3 bottles there. Not too bad. £3,900 a set. But that is...
Won't be too many of them drunk. There won't be too many of them.
I shouldn't have thought so. But, I mean, it's not your standard Lefroy green bottle, white label. You know, they've sort of went pushed the boat out a bit of that. Sort of capitalise, I would imagine, on that special relationship that they do have with King Charles. Next up, Royal Salute. Now, Royal Salute, we have a bottle, not of this. This is Royal Salute 21. This is the special commemoration one for the coronation. 500 bottles, bottled at 52.3%. £18,375 a bottle. That is just right. Just a bit. This is it's a blend of 53 different whiskies. So it is, but yeah, and it was Royal Salute was first introduced in 1953 as a gift to commemorate the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. So they've had to wait a brief while to get the next one, the next coronation. The blend was finished for 2 years in first fill Oloroso sherry casks, and made of homemade jam, poached pears, hazelnut, chocolate, and festive spices. So at £18,000 a bottle, it would need to be pretty damn good. Let's be honest. Now, I run the next one.
What would happen if you had one of the 1970-year-old ones and one of that? Would that be a set then? Would that? I mean, it was bound to have been affordable at the time and now worth a fortune. And if you had both,
well, I don't know whether that would be massively collectible as such, but I don't know. You'd have to check it. Next up,
What have we got?
there's the Highgrove one.
There it is. Yes.
Highgrove. This is one. Let me see now. Let me see. The Highgrove bottle sold out in I think in seconds. The Highgrove bottle, £295, and it was to mark the coronation. It's very special, created by the Cotswolds Distillery, the award-winning distillery located in the Cotswolds area of outstanding national beauty. The rich and fruity whisky has been created using plumage orchard barley grown on the Highgrove estate. We all know Prince Charles is a big environmentalist. He's always been going on about this, and for years he was sort of mocked about this. But well, he was right, and the thing is, they've grown this heritage variety of barley on his estate, and they've produced it into this whiskey. The £295 a bottle. It's not cheap, but it's I think it's a very nice, very nice presentation. And hang on, I need to check this. Does the money go to? Let me see. All profits are donated to charity. So yeah, the whiskey has a commemorative coronation label and presented in a bespoke box to mark the historic occasion. 340 bottles of that one. Now expect a lot of these to pop up at auction. If you want to get one of these, I imagine they'll pop up at auction, and they won't be that.
Some of them disappeared very, very, very quickly, didn't they? I mean, there was people saying it. The English whiskey one sort of disappeared in 30 seconds or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, but I mean, loads of people will flip these. I think they're going to make money at them, and I don't think they probably will. I don't think they're going to be that massively collectible, but you never know. Next one up.
Let me see. Is
that's just a bottle with a very bad picture of Charlie's on that. Again, it's just a very strange thing. That's like the Chinese version of a coronation bottle, isn't it?
we'll put that up. We'll put Irish whiskey review up in Chinese, so they can read it. Let me see. Oh, hold on.
Yep.
Need to change the shape. Shape change for me. Shape. There we go.
Yeah, that's where was that? Where is that? Is that Wolfburn? Is that the Wolfburn distillery?
Hold on. I'll make it bigger. I can't read it. The barrel's upside down, is it?
I can't read it. I think that's maybe the Wolfburn one there. I should have wrote that down.
No, it's a little square. It's a little square bottle.
Is that aye? Oh, that's right. That's Bladnoch. We'll get the Bladnoch one in a wee minute. I know which one that is now. There he is. Our bag getting a soaking. Skip on.
Mm-hmm. We nearly got drowned.
Oh.
And there
he is shoveling peat. Doesn't look happy about it. I've had a laugh today. I had to point something out to a couple of ones. Up until he inherited the crown, in Scotland, he was known as the Duke of Rothesay. Okay? Premier Duke in the whole thing. Justin, what are you doing? Are you checking for hemorrhoids or something? What are you doing?
No, I have to share it all tonight because I'm just trying to do three things at once as usual. You say.
No, go on. Somebody said to me, "Oh, they're showing the we were in Scotland, and someone said about the Queen of England. So is he now the Queen of England in Scotland?" And I had to point out, there's never been a Queen of England ever sit on any throne in Scotland. In case people forget, it was the King of Scotland that took over England, not the other way around. Yeah, it was the other way around. So they're equally the monarch of the two nations. And so he's wearing his Rothesay tartan there. And now obviously he's been elevated. He's now the King of Scotland as well as the King of England. So yeah, there he is shoveling peat.
He's used to that show, the world's best tree planter, wasn't that? Was his dad said he was the world's best tree planter or something like that?
That was it. No, there's our whiskey novice is in our Jim. Was in with him there. We run today. We brought some guests in. I think Jim's maybe referring to the fact that he's shoveling peat is environmentally damaging. I think it's Pete, on the level that the Scotch whiskey industry and the whiskey industry use. I don't think they're going to make much of a difference in it, to be fair. Whenever you see them stripping it out with big industrial machinery, is a different scenario for hanging baskets and stuff. Right, next up, Justin. All right, so this is the Bladnoch one, and this is Bladnoch Tok Aji, which is released for again the commemoration. It's a single cask release from the Lowlands Distillery and will be available to buy on the day of the coronation. It is bottled at 47.7%, 289 bottles, and we're thrilled with the release. So this is a nice thing to have. Where are we? He signed a cask the day he was at the distillery. So yeah, that might be it. Tokaji, or the King's Wine cask, is what it's finished in. So that's another bottling.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, certainly has a long standing relationship with Scotch whiskey. You know,
he does, and Irish whiskey as well. I mean, he's been over here at Bushmills a few times, and the last time he was over, he signed the him and Camilla was here. So skip on, just. Now
that's Jimmy Nesbitt. That's Jimmy Nesbitt.
Because that picture was taken in Fortnum and Mason when Charles was with James Nesbitt. Arlene Foster was there as well, and he was enjoying a Dunville's, because Dunville's is for sale in Fortnum and Mason. So that was the day he got to try a Dunville's, which
good.
This is I'm drinking what one's this? The 1326 cask, single cask one. So yeah.
Let me see. Have a look at the next one. Is
again, this is him opening having another drink outside.
Let me see, and then
this is him with the cask of Royal Lochnagar.
Yeah,
which is very, very close to the Balmoral. Going ahead.
Here, Gregor Rosineski says, I haven't listened to you for a long time. You don't have to listen to us every week. Catch up on the move. Watch it on YouTube. We're on YouTube. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Twitch. We're on Telegram. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're YouTube. We're even in Rumble. Haven't worked out Rumble yet, but we're on it as well. Catch up. We don't expect you to watch every week. I mean, there's over 700 subscribers now, which is fantastic, and we're charging for the 1,000. So remember to hit that subscribe button if you're watching. What else have we got? We've got another picture. There's another drink somewhere else.
I think that's him trying proper 12.
Judging by the look. And
Glenfarclas coronation bottle. Glenfarclas 12-year-old, 72 quid. 43%. That'd be a nice one.
Any overseas places done a Coronation Special? Any of the
probably
14 Commonwealth countries?
Probably a couple, I would have thought. But I didn't go through the whole lot of them because I mean
there's too many.
There would be. There's just too many. That's the English Whisky Company one. £85. 5,000 bottles, Coronation of King, Charles III, with a single malt, matured in ex-bourbon casks and PX sherry, an engraved decanter, non-chill filtered natural colouring, toffee cherries, baked apples on the palate, toffee turns to chocolate, enjoyed by taste of nuts and figs. So yeah, so that's another one.
And
there it is, the Lefroy tapping in a bung.
We tried that. It's very hard to do, isn't it?
It's not really very hard, Justin. It's just you engaged in manual labour. It's always a bad thing.
Yeah, let me see. And then we've got one more. Maybe more. Where's that? Oh, that's the Ardbeg.
That was the Ardbeg. That was where he was getting soaked at Ardbeg.
Yep.
Yep.
And I think there's more.
There is.
Find them. If we can find them. Have I shown all those ones? I think I've shown all those ones. Showing all those ones. Showing all those ones. Showing that one. I've shown that one. We've only got until 10. We would say, have we run out? No, I think that's them all. I think we've flicked through them all there, have we?
I mean, well, there's a couple other ones. Bimber have one out, and then look, as you saw, the Lefroy one was there. But Bimber done one, 85 quid, 1,400 bottles. Again, Bimber, one of the sort of sort of funky New London distillery, who are opening one up in Scotland as well. 1,400 bottles, 52.5% ABV, comes in a gift tube, and a unique marriage of American oak, ex-bourbon, and ex-Bordeaux red wine casks. So again, that probably be one still available on the bimberdistillery.co.uk. So yeah, oh no, sorry, it's out of stock. It's gone as well. Lots of people collect Bimber. It comes across as a very collectible bottling
range. They do a very accessible series of London Underground and all the rest of it. So the history of that, I'm trying to find that one for you. I can't seem to bring it up. But we do have links to all of these somewhere. What else was there? One of that we were supposed to bring up?
There's a story. Just goes to show, the way we always talk about having a drink with your mates and that kind of thing, and how whiskey's perfect for it. I saw this story of Ozzy Osbourne and King Charles. Apparently, Ozzy Osbourne says they're quite friendly because they got to know each other over a bottle of whiskey. When Ozzy Osbourne came off his motorbike, there's a link, Justin, I sent you the link.
I have it, yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne and King Charles III are actually quite chummy, and they once bonded over a bottle of scotch. Ozzy had a bike accident in 2003, and apparently Prince Charles sent over a bottle of whiskey to help him convalesce. But at the time, apparently they were quite shocked because Ozzy was teetotal at the time, so the people reported it. Like, we'll just say that's bollocks. So it is. Just your head looks particularly shiny tonight. I'm just noticing.
I know it's just because of the light. I'll change the light. Oh, does that make me blue?
Aye.
No, that's terrible. It's just shiny. There we go.
So Ozzy and King Charles have bonded over scotch, and at the time it caused a lot of criticism, a lot of scandal because Ozzy was teetotal at the time. Yeah, you're frozen. You keep freezing.
No, I haven't froze. No.
No, the story's quite funny. I think Ozzy Osbourne going teetotal and Prince Charles causing offence.
They've updated the system here again this week, so that's why I'm having to concentrate on other things because it's considerably different. It's like, the way Tesla cars, you get into them and they don't function the same. They drive better after a year than when you first get them, whereas other cars, you get used to them and they keep on updating it. So that's why I'm having diffs tonight. Remember to always comment, like, and share. We can bring your comments on stream if you're on YouTube and Facebook and you don't have privacy on. And, listen, you don't have to watch us every week. Catch up. Just ask your smart speaker or to play Irish Whiskey Review, and it'll kick in because we're on it as well. We're on podcasts, and video podcasts are available on there too via Spotify. What else is there? There was a couple of other stories to do with this as well.
The thing I want to talk about is the sort of practical level of how some of this stuff works. It's okay, someone giving an address and saying that they like something, but the royal family do a slightly different thing. And one of those is the main one would be the royal warrants. Royal warrants are basically you become a member of the Royal Warrant Association. Now, Charles, at the minute, the royal warrants are still running for the late Queen, Prince Philip, and Prince Charles. They were the three people who were allowed to issue royal warrants. This is going to change, and the list will change dramatically. So you have King Charles' old royal warrant, the Prince of Wales as he was then, is on bottles of Lefroy. Now, it's reckoned that there will be 4 people going to be allowed to issue royal warrants going forward. You'll have King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince William, and the Princess of Wales. Okay? Now, that will be a bit of a game changer because you'll have 4 people able to issue these. And it's not just something that is non-tangible benefits. If you get a royal warrant, you're a member of the association, which essentially means then you can be sold, or you're going to be sold in the other association members, the likes of Harrods, Fortnum and Mason, etc., etc. Now, I should imagine that once these start to change, there'll be probably a lot more of them, and it could be a game changer for certain companies. And I just wonder, would it be possible that maybe one in Northern Ireland would get one? I mean, would Bushmills possibly get a royal warrant? Who knows?
Anthony Schultz asked a very good question. What about Queen Camilla? Can she get one?
Yeah,
She
I
issue them? Yep.
would imagine you'll have royal warrants for. It's going to be for the 4 most senior royals. So you'll have the King and Queen and the Prince and Princess of Wales. Will all have them. Justin, you're froze again, buddy.
Nope, I haven't.
You have.
Have I? Well, I haven't at my end. It's just at their end. They say, Whiskey Noah saying, no, you've completely frozen, Justin, but I haven't because I'm moving. Have I completely frozen?
No, you're up and running again now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're moving now. But yeah, no. So the royal warrants, it's worth going on because Johnny Walker has one, but it was granted by the Queen. Now, obviously, the Queen has passed away. So you'll have these 4. And I just have a sneaky suspicion that one of the probably Bushmills could potentially end up with a royal warrant, which would be a big thing for them. Big thing for them.
Well, they need something like that because the sales have dropped 6% in America or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it does carry a lot. There's certainly, shall we say, gives you a sort of air of quality. That's the idea. When you look at some of the other stuff, if you look back on some of the other bottlings, older bottlings, they play a big part of this. Justin, you're definitely gone now, man. I don't know whether you're here or not. Hello?
Keep talking.
I mean, Glen Scotia Victoriana is obviously harking to Queen Victoria. The old Dunval's bottle with a crown on it, it stands for very rare now, but it harks back. It means actually Victoria Regina. I left it down Berry Brothers and Rudd, who are the off license just beside. I say off license, that makes it sound sort of a bit crass, but the off license, the purveyors of alcohol just behind St James's Palace. This is their Irish whiskey. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It'll just be interesting to see what happens.
There's SQs. Charlie buys his wines from Berry Brothers and Rudd. You have a lot in common. We've been in there a couple of times. It's a fantastic shop. Great variety and some great value bottles to be had because they have an end of line counter even in there, which is pretty good stuff.
Put it like this: this is their Irish whiskey. Obviously, it's a Cooley. I say obviously it's a Cooley. It doesn't have to be, but it is a Cooley. This was like 35 quid, 40 quid a bottle. Really, really good stuff. Really nice, really tasty. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But you kind of think that you could see one of these royal warrants heading its way to an Irish whiskey brand. That would be a really nice thing to see, you know. So I am going to pour myself a royal salute.
I found one another picture there. There's Balmoral even has its own whiskey. I didn't even know that.
It's a Royal Loch Nagar, especially for the coronation. But yeah, it's lots of people made good money out of this. Lots of people have got collections and whiskey, and the economy's got a bit of a shot in the arm. So yeah, good on them.
Yes. Lovely stuff. Great show this week. Just to prove we're like ITV and we don't mind dissent. Here's somebody that said something rather nice. I didn't actually see it. Only thing he's king of is reality TV and waving at strangers.
Yeah.
I don't know who you are, Rob Foote, but listen, you don't
Totally
want to
guess.
meet me or Marty in person.
No, it's a person for the democratic. You just don't want to meet my mate. That's what you really don't want to meet. No, Anthony Sellers there. Percentage terms, how much does a royal warrant add? I don't know. But I would imagine that it helps. But if you can get your listings in all of the big high-end retailers, I would imagine that helps the old margin, and you can probably add a little bit of, shall we say, royal warrant added value amount. You would probably be all right on that, you know. But yeah, all good. So anyway, a royal salute. Anthony, enjoy your whiskey, pal, with your coronation bottles. It's nice to see you.
I couldn't resist this. I love this when he visited Coronation Street. It's not yesterday because there's even a payphone on Coronation Street there, and there's your woman off loose woman behind the bar. Yeah. There you go, Anthony Sellers. I'll leave you with the last word. God save the king. Excellent stuff. Wonderful day. If you've enjoyed it, the show, thank you very much. Remember to hit subscribe, and well, long live the king. Because well,
put it like this,
it's been a tumultuous.
I am a big royalist, and the reason is I can't stand politicians. And anytime any of them have to sort of bow their head and do a bit of scraping, it's always good. It's always good. Yeah, you know, politicians in general are all beyond contempt. That's an awful thing to say.
I know.
But
yes,
yeah. I as I say, I think King Charles, his heart's in the right place. Don't necessarily agree with everything he does or says or whatever, but yeah, I think he serves a really good function.
There's Frank Hearn saying he would rather see a royal warrant go to a small independent distillery than a big established distillery. Yeah, could go that way too.
Well, I guess
yeah.
There's if you go onto the royal warrant list, it might surprise you just the size of some of these little shops. There's little like cheese makers in the Cotswolds and so on and so forth who have royal warrants. You know, so you never know. But it'd be nice to think that an Irish whiskey distillery in Northern Ireland could get one. It'd be a nice touch.
There we go. Right, great stuff. Hopefully we're back next week and it'll have settled down with the old glitching and all the rest of it. I'll have got the hang of exactly why it's doing that. I think it's because I've had that many photos to upload. When I upload the photos, it freezes because the internet can't handle that. But anyway, great stuff. Thanks for watching. Bit different this week. Really, thanks for all your positive comments. Only one negative one out of them all. So there you go. Do we know what it is next week? We don't know.
No, for sure, Justin. I never know until about Thursday whether we're doing anything or not.
You do. You only that on, yeah.
I don't know. Genuinely, seriously, having a clue. But we'll figure something out.
It goes together in the back of a page about 5 minutes before it goes live. There it is. There. But listen, thank you very much, and catch you all again next week.
Take care.